Hi everyone. I'm here tonight because I'm going to take you on a new moon journey. It's going to be with Venus, but it is not part of the Venus journey that will be starting in March. But I wanted to give you all a taste of the pieces that I'm going to weave together when we do the Venus journey starting in March. So we have a new moon starting Friday night, or happening Friday night at 6:08 p.m. Central Time. It's at 9 degrees Aquarius. The new moon, for those that don't know, is when the sun and the moon are in the same degree. They're exactly in the same degree. You don't see the moon because she's hidden by the light of the sun. They're in, when the sun rises on that particular day, the moon rises with her. So what we have going with this new moon, which I feel is a very powerful new moon, which is why I wanted to do this, we have the asteroids, Isis and Osiris, god and goddess, separate asteroids coming together in the same degree as the sun and moon, which I find a very powerful symbol of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. With the sun and the moon and Isis, Osiris, you've got all of this energy there. We also have in the same degree the asteroid Lachesis, which is one of the three Moirae, the three fate. She's the weaver of, she measures the thread of life with a rod, deciding how much time of life was allowed for each person or being. And she's in the same degree as these other planetary objects. Now, with the other asteroids that I've got in here with this, just to let you know, the ones that I choose are within 1 degree of aspect of the planets that we work with. I'm not, there can be a lot more, but I don't want to cloud this story up with too many pieces. So we have the ones that are flowing, the trine, the 120 degree aspects, which is the asteroid Circe, who's the goddess of magic. She's renowned for her use of herbs and potions, and she has a magic wand, and she's ensorcerers the men that come to her island with her magic. And then we also have the asteroid Spirit, which the meaning that I found online for it is the rich lifeline of a multidimensional spiritual person who examines every asteroid to know the beautiful tapestry of the life they've woven. So these are flowing aspects that sometimes are taken for granted. So you've got the magic, you've got the goddess of magic, and you've got spirit with you. And then in also a flowing aspect, but one that there are more gifts, the sextiles, the 60-degree angle asteroids, they're more like a gift that you're more consciously use. You have the asteroid Asclepius, who's a famous god of healing, and he used the dream incubations in his temples throughout the ancient world. So it's about using dreams, and with our guided meditations, it's kind of like entering that dream state. So that was kind of neat. And then we have the asteroid Eros, which is all about sexuality and lovers inspiring erotic feelings in each other. And we have Isis and Osiris coming together. It's like, yeah, let's bring on the eroticism. Because we also have the asteroid in sextile Paradise. There's an asteroid called Paradise. And, what couldn't be more, we all know what paradise means, where you find that comfort and happiness and peace and for everyone to come together in this 1 degree, you can find paradise. But you also have some challenges, because things don't always flow easy. So we have the asteroids that are 90 degrees away, called square. They're a little bit more of a challenging. We have Mors Somnus. I believe that's an asteroid, or it's a planetary being of some sort. And it's about the selective access to experiences hidden in the unconscious, past lives, genetic memories, or soul memories. So part of what you deal with in this work is the hidden stuff, the stuff that we've buried, and those are the challenging things. And for it to be so prominent in this first path working that we work, I really feel that energy will help us. And then we have Pandora, the asteroid Pandora. She's also going to create some stressful challenges there for you. But, because what are we opening up? The memories of the past, Pandora's box. It's more than you get bargained for. It's being enticed by a curiosity, a new idea, person, or situation, and finding that it's set you on a whole new path. And that's part of what this work is about also. And then we also square the goddess Parvati. Excuse me. She's the Hindu goddess of fertility, love, and devotion, as well as divine strength and power. And one of the little stories that I saw that intrigued me, that I'm weaving into this, is, Parvati was always trying to get the attention of spirit, or Shiva. In her evolution, she tried sexual wiles, talents, and other things to get Shiva to notice her, but nothing worked. So she sat in meditation for a year to attract his love, and this worked by using the meditation. I find that tying these pieces together with these asteroids has been just thrilling, because it really ties in with the work that I want to do. Now, recognize that each of these entities that I'm talking about they have more depth to their stories. I'm just taking tiny pieces to fit them in with my weaving and my picture that I'm doing. And if one of these were to capture you a little bit more, or if you see them come up in your life around you, in the time period after we do these workings, by all means explore them more. They may have a deeper message for you. It's just don't go by the little pieces that I give you. Explore it more. You're welcome to do that. Now, the story of Isis and Osiris, I want to get into that a little bit more. When I was pulling pieces together, I'm always buying books on subjects that interest me. And Isis happens to be an asteroid that is very, very strong in my chart. She's exactly opposite my sun. So Isis has always been a goddess archetype that I have held close, near and dear for me in my heart. And so I buy books. And I happened to buy a book by Jean Houston called The Passion of Isis and Osiris, A Gateway to Transcendent Love by Jean Houston. And Jean Houston is a great philosopher. I strongly recommend anything that she puts out there to read, and her work. And when I picked up this book and I just randomly started opening the book, someday I'll read it from front to back, but right now I just randomly opened to the story of Isis and Osiris, and I got a little bit different take than some of the stories that I've encountered online regarding Isis and Osiris. Now, you have the four siblings of this Egyptian group. You've got Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, and Set. And Isis and Osiris are married, and Nephthys and Set are married. And there's other side stories that I won't go into that you may or may not know. But the story that I want to use tonight is there was a bit of a sibling rivalry type situation between Set and Osiris. So Set decided, he had 72 followers that came along with him, and he fashioned this coffin to fit Osiris's body. They got the dimensions of his body secretly, and he fashioned this coffin. And there was a joke there was a party where they were all carrying on and having a great old time. And he pulled out this coffin, and Set says, "Well, whoever fits it can have it." And all of these people that were with him, none of them fit in the coffin. And then when Osiris got into it, it fit him exactly. And immediately, Set's 72 henchmen sealed the coffin, and they set it down the Nile and to get rid of him. Well, when Isis hears this, she's just devastated, because this is her other half. This is her divine half, her divine masculine, and she goes into mourning. And the story goes down, where she ends up, the coffin comes on shore and ends up, a tamarisk tree grows around the coffin, and then the tree is cut down, and it ends up being a pillar in a king's home. And when Isis is in mourning and she's traveling the country, she comes across and she gets rumor that this is where the coffin is, where Osiris is, and she goes to work at this house and for this king as a she takes care of their child. And she goes through the process of trying to make the child immortal. And then the mother finds out and gets upset, obviously, because she's as Isis is trying to make the child immortal, she's putting him in fire. That's another whole layer of the story that it would really bear research into. But anyway, for our purpose of the story, when the mother finds out that Isis is putting her baby through the fire trying to make her immortal, she freaks out because she doesn't understand it. And Isis has to reveal herself. And as she reveals herself as the goddess, the mother falls to her feet and says, "Oh, mother, I'm so sorry." And then Isis reveals that her husband Osiris is in this tree, and they end up releasing the coffin to Isis. Now, in the stories that I have read elsewhere, it's usually the second time around that Isis has the coffin, she has Osiris, and then Set gets a hold of the coffin again, gets a hold of Osiris, and then cuts him into 14 pieces. And Isis gathers those 14 pieces and gets everything except for the phallus, which has been eaten by a crocodile or a crab or a river animal of some sort, and she fashions a new phallus out of gold and is impregnated that way. But the story that Jean Houston has put together with the ancient Egyptian mysteries, because there's a whole mystery teaching that the reason that these myths are there, that they used, and it is this first time she finds Osiris, she brings him back to life. She finds a way, using her magic, entices him back to life, and is impregnated by him, so that her son, Horus, who becomes a great healing god, a healer, she's impregnated with him the first time before Osiris is cut into 14 pieces. So that's going to be the focus of our story tonight, is using that first part of the story when she first entices Osiris to come back to life, so that he can impregnate her. Now, what you have to understand is the mythology, what the symbolism is of this mythology, with Isis being the divine feminine, and that is the place where the ideas will grow inside. With Osiris being the divine masculine, which is the active principle that has to be inserted inside that divine idea for it to grow. So what we're going to do is call forth Osiris to impregnate us with that inner divine. It's about Isis and her holy longing, the holy longing to be that gift, to find that gift, to find that purpose, to find what you're doing, what your purpose is in life, that thread, that fate, that gift, pulling it out from magically, and having it be, come to you, and having Osiris ignite that flame inside of you, and placing that spark inside your inner being, so that you can grow your idea, you can grow your desire, you can find your holy longing to come out and bring it out into the world. And at a new moon, that's when you plant the seeds. So I felt that this is a very powerful time to do this working. Now, one of the other things that when I was reading this book that I found very, very fascinating, and I think it has a lot to do with the work that we're going to be doing on these journeys with Venus and Inanna as we go through our time together, is she talks about the three layers of the brain. You have the the reptilian part of the brain, which is your really basic, what is the word? Automatic sense parts of your body, your breathing, everything's that are just automatic. And then you've got the mammalian part of it, which is your habitual stuff of keeping yourself safe and feeding yourself, and it covers all of that sort of behaviors. And then you've got the neocortex part of your brain, which is where your thinking processes, and where it'll take the part of you from, like, for instance, your sexuality, going from just being reproductive to something like Romeo and Juliet, adding that extra layer. And how there are times when, for survival, that middle part of your brain will take over the outer part of your brain, whether it's real or imagined, and control that. So that would start to if it got out of control, if you found yourself in a position of feeling frightened, being afraid, and you start twisting things around to fit this fear inside of you, and it's controlling your thought processes. And she shows that by going into the higher mind, by going into the meditative processes, you then start to make things let that higher brain take over the lower two, instead of letting the lower two parts of your brain control that upper brain. You start seeing things clearer. You start seeing the reality of things. I'm really simplifying this, okay? For those of you that really want to get into it more, I can tell you what pages of the book, and you can, I can share that with you. I'm just trying to show you that it's the whole idea of using these guided meditations and allowing your higher mind to take over those basic processes that are controlling us, that are keeping us from living our life to our fullest. By allowing our higher mind to expand and open up, and letting these ideas come in, where our imagination and our higher mind will start bringing pieces to us. It's what this whole Venus journey is about. Because when you open to that spiritual side, it starts bringing things in. You start noticing things that were there all along, but you didn't see them. You're allowing that portion of your brain to take over, and trusting that it is working for your higher self and taking you down this road and down this journey in a way that will make life more fulfilling. That's not necessarily necessary to know, but I just thought it was very intriguing for me to come across this with the Isis and Osiris. And if you have more questions about that, if I'm not clear, send me a question and I'll scan the pages and you can read it. So those are the stories of the asteroids. Now we also have something else that I'm intrigued by. There have been over the years several different people that have taken the different there's 360 degrees in the zodiac, and in 360 astrological degrees, and they have taken those degrees and created a symbol for each of the degrees. You have the Sabian symbols. That was an astrologer and a psychic that got together one afternoon and just randomly came up with sentences for each degree. And then over the years, people have taken the sentences and come up with their own explanation of it. And then the one that I use the most is Linda Hill on that one. And then there's been a couple others. Elias Lonsdale came up with something called the Chandra symbols, which I've really fallen in love with. And then we've got John Sandbeck, who has done a couple of others called the Omega symbols and the Pleiadian symbols. And he's I kind of take all of these and weave them together. And I found that for this one, starting out on this sort of journey, I found several of them, the sayings that kind of really fit. And usually they do. There's some sort of a magical way they fit with the work you're doing. And most times I'll probably only be using one of the symbols, but tonight I'm gonna kind of read a couple sentences of each one because I think they're pretty powerful. So the Sabian symbol for 9 degrees Aquarius is a flag. A flag is seen turning into an eagle. The sentence that I saw, okay, it's a flag turning into an eagle represents nationalistic ideals and values being taken to their highest level. They're both symbolic representations of these strong ideas. This symbol reflects the need or desire for our inner thoughts to become manifest into daily life practice. Your core beliefs can be seen as your flag, and your announcements of and allegiance to them is like the eagle. You may find that you are no longer being asked to just project an image, but also to own your own true power. In a more dramatic situations, one may feel like they've been reborn or suddenly become more motivated or inspired to carry through the actions that they have only previously thought about. Okay, I thought that's pretty cool. And then the Omega symbol is a medieval castle, a medieval cathedral is built on the site of an ancient pagan temple. New ideas so often incorporate old ones and are often nothing more than a new expression of what has come before. This degree realizes this, and rather than being intent on preserving the older tradition or supporting its new manifestation, it focuses on the fostering of timeless and boundless wisdom, which it desires to embrace no matter what the outer form. So we're taking old ideas and we're creating something new. And I thought, that's pretty powerful too. The Pleiadian symbol is a mystic symbol comes to life as a multicolored serpent, the bringing of ideas and concepts to life through merging with their creative energy. Pretty powerful, because that's really what we're doing. Now, my favorite, the Chandra symbols. This is a star spark by Elias Lonsdale. Violets blooming by the barred window of a dungeon. Okay, this one's kind of long. What I'd like for you to do is kind of take a deep breath, sit back, close your eyes, and listen to this, and take these words inside as a beginning part of the journey that we're going to go on. Okay? Being invested with a dual fate. Outwardly, doomed to repeat mistakes, to get in trouble for every one of them, and to suffer the consequences of missing important cues and being elsewhere. This outward aspect seems to prevail by any usual reckoning. It is convincing, dense, literal. Self and world don't find easy ground. The self is viewed by its world as failing to live up to agreements, not fulfilling the promise, being somehow vague and nebulous and strange. Inwardly, an entirely different picture emerges, because the outer fate is so set and predictable and repetitious. The inner spirit can fly free and venture upon a different life on the inside. This other life is as rich and fulfilling as the outer tends to be barren and alien. There is this adventure, this open journey, and it is quite hidden from the view of those who would disapprove and perhaps try to stop it. The outer landscape takes up a lot of time and attention. The inward experience dominates the subconscious and unconscious and superconscious levels of awareness. The outer mind is very taken up with the problems and dilemmas which arise on every hand. The subtle mind is working upon greater things and truly is disengaging from the business at hand. The torturous, peculiar, yet redemptive path of rendering the outer world unto Caesar and reserving the inner world for the spirit quest. A remarkably pure and clear and simple alignment with the greater worlds on the inside. Events are what they are. The deeper layers, the higher frequencies call the spirit to an ultimate kind of overcoming, detachment, a seeing things through inner eyes. The duality persists. Two worlds are sensed, and the synthesis lies in evolving to oneness. I really find it nails on the head what we're doing. This work has a sense of unreal to it. And what you're going to do as we go through the guided meditation, you will pull the archetype energies together, weaving it together, and creating something inside of you that will open the doors to understanding more about who you are. You're going to find yourself getting pulled away through the guided meditations. Bring yourself back. You know, if you find your mind wandering for some reason, bring it back. Bring it back. Don't beat yourself up. Be gentle. You can always re-listen to the meditations. You know, I've found that in some of the groups that I've worked with, I've had to do that a few times. For this particular meditation, I need you to be sitting up straight when we do it. You know, I want you to have a straight spine, your feet on the floor. You're going to, when we do the meditation, you're going to set yourself up in a sacred space, you know, whatever that means to you. Does it mean calling the quarters? Does it mean just having a room to yourself, the door shut, light a candle, call in all your inner guides and spirits, your spirit guides, any of the entities that you work with, bring them in to set your barriers, to set yourself, make your own circle, set yourself safe. For those of you that don't understand how to do that, it's about creating the sacred space, taking the deep breath of knowing that you are safe and in your own spot and that nothing else is going to bother you. This is you putting yourself into this realm. There is not going to be anything that comes in to harm you. Anything that comes up are aspects of yourself that you will want to dialogue with. Always have your journal and a pen nearby so that you can immediately, when you come out, sit down and write anything that comes through. If you're more of an artist type being, I invite you to have paper and crayons or drawing pencils if you want to draw something. I know for me, I'd rather write, but with my chakra dance, we draw a mandala, a picture in the middle of a circle, and that energy will speak to you too if you just draw something down. But you may receive messages, you may receive ideas, you may hear things when we go through these journeys, and having that journal next to you for when you come out is very important. So you're going to put yourself in a sacred space. You're going to light a candle. And for tonight, what I would really like for you to do is to take, if you have a candle, if you have a mirror that you can put in front of that candle, so you can't see in it. I want the room dark. You have a small candle and a mirror in front of the candle, not reflecting into the mirror, but the candle can be behind it, like the sun and the moon, the dark moon. If you don't, that's fine. I'm just trying to add to the magic of this for you, setting the scene, setting the mood. If at this point, what you really need to do is stop the video actually, I'm going to stop the video right here and make a second video so that you can get yourself prepared, and then if you decide to redo the meditation at a later date, it's easier to do. So I'm going to stop this, get yourself ready, and then start the second meditation that I will have right after this one. Okay?